Yo, what up, YouTube? This is your boy Enrique, aka PGX Comics, coming at you with my PGX Slab video collection. That's right, guys. If you guys been following me for a while now, you know that I've been doing videos showing my slab collection. You know, the first video was my CBCS yellow label books. The second video was my CGC collection. The third video was my CBCS blue label collection. And now I'm going to show you what I have left from PGX. Because the PGX books, little by little, I've been cracking them open and getting them, some of them signed and re-slabbed as yellow labels or things, you know, been doing things. I just been cracking them open, basically, you know. Since we have an account with CBCS, I might as well, you know, take full advantage of the account and do it that way. But I'm also going to do a CGC submission also. Maybe one of the books, I'm not 100% sure. When I go through them, as I go through them on the video, if it's going to go to CGC or if it's going to go to CBCS or if I'm going to leave it like the way it is, I'll let you know as we go through the books. This is just a good way of, like Seeking Him said, it's a good way of cataloging your books and having a record of what you have, you know, a video record. Because they're, you know, they're forever. You could download them after you upload them, so it doesn't, or you could keep them recorded. You know, I back up all my stuff anyway, so I'll always have a record of it. Yeah. So all right, moment of truth. Let's also, by the way, you know, I didn't make an announcement, but I changed the name of the channel. The channel, I'm still Biggie's Comics, you know, but all the NY Warriors live streams and the NY Warriors auctions, as a group, we do it on my channel. So my banner always, you know, when you go into my channel online, it always, you know, it does say Biggie's Comics, home of the NY Warriors. I figured, let me just make that the name because it'll become more searchable, you know, throughout the name. You know, even though I name the shows or the, you know, when we do the shows or we do the auctions, I do name them NY Warriors, so they're searchable that way. But I figured the name, added to the name, it'll help us search. I know that's why some people say it's a long name, but it doesn't matter. It makes it easier to find us as a group collectively, you know. All right, so moment of truth. Let's start. Let me show you what I got. Sorry, you probably didn't notice that, but I had to do a quick little pause. But okay, let me show you. Let's begin real quick. Hopefully this video ain't too long. It's not that long. I don't have that many left. All right, so this one here, this is one of my favorite covers of all time. Let me just zoom back out because this camera, for some reason, when it when you hit the record button, it automatically zooms in. So setting it up in the beginning before it's recording is a waste of time, basically. So I always have to adjust after I hit the record button. All right, so hopefully you see it good. See the whole slab. Don't worry, I'm working on a whole new setup, you know. Basically one of the kids moved out, so we have an extra room. So you know what that means. You know? All right, so this is Web of Spider-Man number 32 from the storyline, one of my favorite storylines too, Kraven's Last Hunt. Really enjoy this story arc. I do have the single issues, but also the first trade paperback for this story arc is very hard to find. So if you guys find it, it's one of those rare trades that are worth money. So pick it up. You know, it has a purple cover. Make sure it's first printing also. Very hard to find. You can't even find them on eBay. Well, I haven't checked eBay in like probably about a year. But before that, I couldn't even find it on eBay. Trust me. So that's one of the ones you look out for. Anyway, so this was signed back in the day, one of those church cons we used to call it. You know, they used to have the little conventions under the churches, in the basement of the churches in NYC. It's signed by Mike Zeck, and it's signed right here in silver by Mike Zeck and by Bob McLeod. So I had this signed back in the 90s by them. You know, we didn't have any grading companies or verifications or nothing. They just signed your book or whatever. And it's just amazing how Mike Zeck still signs the same way. So when I found out that PGX does, you know, authenticate the signatures, because CGC doesn't do that, I submitted this book, and I submitted it without any pressing, because it's, you know, it's an original book for my collection. So it came back at an 8.0. The signatures verified, and I was happy. You know, I never this was one of the first times that, you know, I did any kind of grading. Was, you know, this was part of my first grading order. So I'm real happy they came back at an 8.0. You know, book that I've had since I was a kid, and I'm 38 years old now. So that goes, you know, to me that's great. It's great condition, you know. All right. So this one I'll probably leave it. You know, I can press it and I can tell. You see, like there's a couple of indents in there that'll probably give it a grade bump. You know, like this. But I don't know. Maybe. Let's see. It's not a priority right now. This next book here, this is, you know, book needs no introduction. This is Uncanny X-Men 266. Back in 2016, I had a comic wish list, and this was one of the books on my wish list. And my boy Brandon, aka Archangel, aka Bam Pow Comics on IG, he reached out to me. He was like, "Yo, Enrique, I got this book. You want it? I'll give you time payments on it." It's the first book I ever had time payments, which it wasn't much. It was like $100 I paid for it. And he, you know, I didn't have the $100 at the time, so he's like, "Don't worry, just send me $20, and you know, you could do it bi-weekly, whatever, 20 bi-weekly." So that's what I did. I sent him $20 bi-weekly, and he gave me the book. So shout out to Brandon, aka Archangel, if you're watching this video. Still have it. It's still the same thing. I haven't decided what to do with it. It does have a few indents there. That's why probably it's a 9.4. So this is a book one day I'll crack open, have Chris Claremont, you know, Claremont sign it, or Andy Kubert. Andy Kubert did the cover, and you know, reslab it. You know, so if I don't get it signed, then it'll be a CGC slab, because that's my new goal. Blue labels CGC, yellow labels CBCS. Another book, one of my favorite books right here. This is Champions #1. This one I bought on eBay. You know, I bought it raw on eBay maybe 3 years ago, you know, before I did videos on there. So this is a Gil Kane cover, Don Heck art. This is the origin and first appearance of the Champions, and it came back at a 7.0. That's a, you know, fine to very fine. Again, book never been pressed, so it does have room for improvement. You know, this book wasn't pressed. Just, you know, awesome Bronze Age book, you know. 1975. Can't go wrong. Alright. This next one here, this is Web of Spider-Man #1, White Pages 9.0. First appearance of the Volturians, you know, believe it or not. A lot of people, when they show this book, they never mention that too often, that there's a first appearance on here. And the story is also done by Louise Simonson. So she's always at the conventions out here. So one day I'll crack this open also, and because I never pressed it again. So I'll crack it open and I'll get her to sign it. I'll get Era 212 to press and clean it for me. And hopefully it'll get a grade bump, you know. It's a nice book to have and get it signed. You know, it's not a valuable book, but it's one of my, again, this is another one of my books originally from when I was a kid. So it's always happy to see when you have a book from you as a, you know, when you have a book that you had with you since you was a child, and you're grown up now, and it's still in a condition, you know, 8.0 and up, that's still great. You know, that's awesome. Then this one here, you know, no special reason why I slabbed it. This is New Future Zen #1, Suicide Squad, the 3D lenticulars. I don't know why this got a 9.6. You know, to me, I thought there was no flaws on it. And it's one of those 3D lenticular covers that, you know, one of the first ones that were done actually by DC. So it's very hard, you know. You could find 10s in these, or 9.9s, and I don't know why this one came back at 9.6. It doesn't matter. Probably get rid of it. Then this is my daughter's, because she's a huge Harley Quinn fan, my older daughter. So I have the same book again, but this one's a 9.8. So this one is hers. Just, you know, she leaves it stacked with mine, but it's really hers. You know, when she gets her own setup, you know, she'll display it in her shelf. You know. All right. Oh, next we got this one right here. This is Amazing Spider-Man number 15, signed by Stan Lee, 9.8. This was signed at San Diego Comic-Con 2016. This is the first appearance of Mary Jane Watson as the spider suit, or the way they name it here is Mary Jane Watson dons the Iron Spider suit. Alex Ross cover. This was a act of kindness from my boy Orlando, aka Big O. Big O hasn't done videos in a long time, but he is very active on Facebook. So if you're still watching videos, man, shout out to you. Always appreciate it. Always appreciate anything you've ever sent me, and this is no exception. There's PGX's signature series label is the same color as their authenticated labels, so it's gold. So this one, I'm probably going to send this one into PGX just because it's a witness signature. So since it's a witness signature, I might as well keep it to them, but recase it with the new case and the new label, you know, so it'll definitely look better. All right. Then we have next, and these, I have a few of these, but not all of them. This is a Suicide Squad number 14. This is part of the Death in the Family story arc. This is the die cut cover, you know, the die cut variant, I think it is. Actually, no, this is the regular cover is die cut. It's not really a variant. I can tell by the barcode. But this is Greg Capullo cover. I just got it slabbed because I knew it was a 9.8, and it's just an awesome cover, and I love looking at it, you know. But I do have a few. I have the Batman one, and I have the Batgirl one that have, you know, they all have the same die cut on there, you know, 9.8. Okay, next we have a book that was from my childhood again. This is, you know, one of my favorite Wolverine covers. This is Wolverine number 8, 9.2. White pages, never been pressed. It does have a couple of pressable defects on it, and also this is one of those books that one day I'll definitely crack it open and get Chris Claremont to sign it, and you know, get a yellow label on it. You know, it's one of those books. This book I had since my childhood again, and for it to be in that condition still, even if CBCS doesn't say it's a 9.2 and it's a 9.0, still is a good condition for a book that I've had since I was a kid. You know, but I think it's a 9.2. You know, I look at it really well. It does have a couple of, see right there, that could be pressed out right there. They're non-color breaking. So let's see. It'll be fun to see, you know, that come back, something different. Another book from my childhood. This is The Incredible Hulk number 340, and this is 8.5 off white to white pages. This book is the grade is a little lower than that book because I love this book even more. So the lower the grade, the more loved the book is. Basically, you know. This year, I think Peter David is going to the Big Apple Con. I'm not going to the Big Apple Con because it's so close to East Coast. It's actually a week before East Coast Comic Con. So if I have a, you know, since both cons requires, you know, a lot of money and they're a week apart from each other, I rather spend my money at East Coast Comic Con because it's a better con. But Peter David is actually, I think, going to be at Big Apple Con, so I could have gave it to my NYC to have him sign it for me. But it's too, you know, I already spent too much money on pressing, so I don't want to press and then resubmit this just for a signature next time. You know, but eventually this will happen to that also. You know. Next book is a book I showed recently because I won it. I won this book at, you know, you guys know I won it in Lord of the Long Box auction. Not the one that he just had previously, but the one before. I won it from Dark Side Jedi. I got it for a steal, but, you know, then again, he got the PGX price for it, you know. They always say that everything goes lower at PGX, so you got a PGX slab, you got less because it's PGX, you know. No, but it's all good though. This book, eventually I'm gonna crack this open. I'm not getting it signed by anyone because I am not paying Liefeld 100 and change for his goddamn signature. No way in hell. You know, but you know who can sign this book? Louise Simonson can sign it, because people, again, don't often talk about it, but the story is done by Louise Simonson, so she can sign this, and she don't even charge for it. So I would get her signature because she's a nice lady, and I'll get a yellow label on this. So either way, it's either going to go to CGC for a blue label, or it'll get a yellow label with Louise Simonson's name on it, you know? All right. Next, we have this book right here. This is a book that I purchased online. I got it really cheap. I don't remember exactly, but it was something like 20 bucks. I think I paid for this on eBay. This is Superman 182, Silver Age book from 1966. This is the first Silver Age appearance of the Toyman. And it's Kurt Swan art and cover, and Jerry Siegel story. Just awesome book, great condition for a book from 1966, 8.0. Eventually this book is definitely going to get cracked open, pressed, cleaned by my boy Era 212, and it's going to get submitted to CGC, you know, because there's no one that can sign it. So it's just going to get a blue label. All right, guys, almost done. I got one more book, actually, and it's probably my most favorite book in my collection. And you guys have been with me for the last 3 years. You guys know what book is coming up. You know, my new subscribers, they may not know, they may not have seen it, but here you go. This is it's not the oldest book in my collection, but it's the second oldest book in my collection. This is Action Comics 82 from 1945. It's a beautiful cover. It's a 3.0, and it presents a lot higher than a 3.0, because the reason it's a 3.0 is because the cover is almost split. I think it's the cover split from the top staple up in this book, and so they kind of, you know, grade that. It's, you know, it's here, there's a little chunk here missing. It's a couple of you know, chewed up parts on the wrong spine, but the cover itself presents beautifully. Let me show you the back, because I always love these ads in the older Golden Age books. You know, Ever Ready Battery. Awesome. Just love these Golden Age books. The reason I haven't sent this book out for the new label is just because I don't want to mess with it too much. I didn't want to crack it open and whatever. But I think I'm going to just send this to PGX so they can put a new label on it. Or maybe I'll just send it to CGC or CBCS. I, you know, really don't know. My other Golden Age books is with CBCS. So maybe I'll send it to them for blue label. I'm not 100% sure. I don't really like to mess with this so much. It's already encased. You know, I don't really like to... I don't want to take a chance to open it and they could damage it. Because, you know, they could damage your book. And this book is not replaceable. Where am I going to find the Action Comics 82 at? It's not in nobody else. Yes, it's a rare book, you know. So, you know, I'm not sure, you know, what to do with it. Or maybe just leave it like that. Why don't you guys let me know in the comments. What would you do with this book? Action Comics 82 from 1945, 3.0 PGX. Would you keep it in this one? Send it back to PGX for the new casing and the new label. Send it to CBCS or send it to CGC. You know, don't worry about the dollar amount or which one's more valuable. Which one you think is my best option, or just to leave it that way. Let me know in the comments below. All right, guys. So that's it. That's all I got for you guys today in this video. Quick, that's it for now. I do have a couple of submissions coming in. My AceCon submissions are already being shipped. Hopefully my New York Comic Con books are finally going to be shipped also as well. So, look forward to those videos right now. The New York Warriors are probably going to get together next week, Saturday. You know, if our books ship this week, then we'll meet up definitely next Saturday, and, you know, we'll record a little bit. And also, don't forget our auction. December. Look at what the fuck am I smoking? March 23rd, Friday, March 23rd, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, right here, Big East, home of the New York Warriors. But also, yeah, that's it. Until next time, peace.